Grahamites, it's time to unite. One of my customers bought a Gamergraham Pc. Today we're going to look at how it's built. So, stay tuned. Alright Grahamites, this is what the case looks like. This is a Raid Max case. It is a gaming machine case. It has room for water cooling in the back and everything. So we're good to go. Alright, here's what the inside looks like. That's where the drives go. Has room for more. And there's your, like for your CD-ROM drives and DVD burners and stuff like that up in here. These are the cables that power the fans. These are the, you know, the everything that's on this thing. You know, the USB ports and everything like that. So we're just gonna stick them aside for now, and we're gonna take a look at the motherboard. That'll be the first thing we put in. Alright, when you get a new computer or motherboard with your computer, this is what it comes in. It comes in a box. It comes with one of these. This is a back bracket, because not all motherboards have the same layout, so it comes with its own template to go on the back of the case. Some of them come with SATA cables, and that's what these are. These connect the motherboard to your hard drive and your burner or whatever else. So what we're going to do, we're going to set these aside because we don't need these just yet. This right here, this is your driver CD, and if you don't know what a driver is, it's not someone who drives your car. Basically what drivers are is pieces of software that tell Windows how to operate the hardware that's on your system. That's the best way I could put it. And all the drivers for this motherboard are on here. And this will allow Windows to communicate with all the hardware that's in the system. Of course, here's your instruction manual. This is a good reference for how to wire your motherboard and such. I will be using this to make sure I do everything correctly. See, here's the layout of the pins and the, stuff like that. USB 3.0, module connector, USB 2.0. So I'll be using this and to make sure I send this to the customer as well, so that they know what to do, just in case if they need to reset the settings of the BIOS and stuff. This right here is just a quick start guide. This is how to quickly put together the system and make sure it works. It's not really as detailed as the instruction manual, but this is just a quick way to look at it, just to kind of see how it fits in the case and all that, and how to install the processor and all that. So we'll set that aside. And underneath this cardboard is the motherboard itself. This motherboard is the MSI A68HM Grenade series. Basically, this means this is one little badass little board right here. So we're going to take this out of the anti-static bag. Make sure you touch something metal before you take the board out. Otherwise you could inadvertently destroy this board. So metal's touched. And this is the motherboard. And this is everything that's on the back of the machine. You have your VGA port, your DVI port, and you also have a little HDMI right here to hook up to like a television or a monitor. So that's that. But whenever you purchase a motherboard, you want to make sure you have the right processor to go with this, because every processor takes a different socket or bed. It's referred to as socket though. This here is the socket for the motherboard. This one here is FM2 Plus. I'll explain that in a minute, but right now that's what type of board this is. It's FM2 board, and it takes processor with both graphics card and CPU combined, and it makes it easier because it used to be that graphics were on board, and when something happened to them, you really couldn't do much about it. Other than replace the motherboard and stuff like that. Here, if the chip ever goes bad, you just replace the chip and you're good to go again. So we're going to mount this into the case here and go to the next step. Okay, before we remount the motherboard, remember this bracket that I showed you earlier? We're going to be placing that in first before we put in the motherboard so that everything fits. You can't install this after the motherboard's in. A good rule of thumb when you install these back plates for the motherboard is it's always the bezel side in or towards the back, and it's always these keyboard holes that go on top. That makes it that's how you install this. So all you do, come back here. You just line it up. And it should just snap right on in. And you should feel the bezel all the way around. If you don't, push it in some more. If you feel the bezel all the way around, that means it's in and it's ready to go. Let's put the motherboard in. Okay, so the motherboard is in there. Let's get ready to install the processor. The processor of choice is the AMD A10 7700K. This has 4 CPU cores and 6 GPU cores. So I'm expecting this thing to really perform when I install it. So it is brand new. I want to just get it on in here. It comes with its own heatsink as well as processor. So again, there's an instruction manual, but these are kind of easy to put on. There's the heatsink, and right here is the processor, and that's the case badge we're going to put on as soon as it's done. Now, to install the processor, you're going to want to do this right, otherwise, you know, the processor just won't fit, and you may damage your processor if you don't put it in right. So, if you see on this processor, on this very edge right here, there's a little arrow. And what you do is match that arrow to the arrow that's on the socket here, and that'll tell you the correct way it goes. It's really kind of easy, and it's been done like this for a while now. Okay, I found the arrow. We're just going to pop it in. It's in there. Make sure it's good and level, that it's not tilted in any way. Then you just shut the lever and lock it. And the processor is essentially on right now. Okay, before we continue, the heatsink does have its own little bit of glue that goes on top of this, which kind of helps to get the heat off of the processor. I don't really trust it, so what I've got some Arctic Silver, and this will help the processor that even more to get more out of your gaming. So we're just gonna put an X and then make a little star kinda. And that's that. Looks kind of like a spider on there, but that's the way they want you to do it. So we're gonna put on the heatsink now. So See, that's a little tacky right there, and that's because it has its own sync glue, but like I said, it's not really that impressive. So I added more, which should help with the, you know, when you push your frame rates and everything else. So first thing we're going to do is find the CPU fan pins, and I found them. So what we're going to do, first thing is line the heatsink up. And we're going to hook up one side. There's one little tab on that side that you got to kind of hold, while this one you just kind of press down until it locks. And once it locks, you just turn that lever, and the processor is now on. There. So heatsink, I locked the side on this tab, and then I took the lever and I locked it, and then I pushed this lever from this side to here to lock this processor in. So this processor is now good to go. The only thing left is to plug in the CPU fan, which I just did. We'll deal with the cabling later. Okay, we got that step out of the way. The next step is to install the RAM. The kind I got are the G-Skill Aries. These were recommended for this board, and there's only one way to put them in. There's a little gap right here, and it'll only let you put it in one way, and you just lock it from each side. So that's what I'll do. Okay, all you do is match the tab, and then all you do is there's little divots here where you put the side to the RAM in, and you just click each side. It's click, click, and it's in. Simple as that. And the same thing with this one. Click, click. There. And now 16 gigabytes of RAM ran. So to continue with this build, we have to start putting in the internal electronics, and that's exactly what we're about ready to do. Alrighty. For the main drive on the system, I have purchased a Samsung solid state hard drive, and believe it or not, this is how small it is. And let me show you the size difference. Okay, this is the size of a standard hard drive, which we'll be putting in here in a minute. And if I put this up to it, yeah, there's quite the size difference. A lot of punch packed into this little thing. This is what I use for my PC at home to game with and everything. This is a 500 gigabyte. It's a 500 gigabyte. It's an 850 Evo. And man, this thing is just awesome to have. So let's get this one installed. Now, that's the motherboard. No, there's really no light, but this right here are set of ports 1 and 2. And if you can see that, there's a little L-shaped thing in there, and that's how they fit in. So you take your SATA cables, and we're going to connect them. You connect the L into that L right here. And you do the same thing with the other one. Now the drives are ready to go in, and we're about ready to do that right now. On this particular model case, it has drive base acceptors, and they fit right in here, and all they do is slide in and lock, which I think is a really nice feature. See, boom, it's in. And then this one, same thing. Boom, it's in. So them hard drives are already installed, ready to go. And we're going to connect these up real quick. Okay. So what I did, I took those saddle wires and I routed them through the back and back in around to hook up to the hard drives over here. This will give room for more airflow and just give an overall good performance. Okay, for the disk drive, these guys opted for the LG Blu-ray drive. This is a Blu-ray burner, so it will burn CDs, DVDs, and Blu-ray. So if you have like a lot of stuff you want to store on a disc, you can do that with this one. It's not recommended that you burn movies illegally, and I don't condone that, but this is mainly for data storage above all. So that's why we're going to install it. So we're going to do that real quick. And the way that works, see, there's a door on this and it opens. And the drive just slips right on in, theoretically. And that just locks right in. Simple as that. This thing is almost ready to go. I gotta get one more set of cables so we can complete this project. Okay, for the next step of the project, we're going to install the power supply. This is a Corsair 650 watt power supply. It is modular, so I only have to install what we need. And let's put in this little beast. Okay, I got the power supply all lined up and ready to go. Let's screw it in. Always like to do these angle to angle, or side to side, so that it gets everything in there evenly. Okay, that one's in. I'm going to go here and do this one. Alright, the fan on the inside should keep the system more cool too. I mean, we have 3 case fans so far. We have the fan in the power supply, fan here, and we have the illuminated one in front for the effects. And we're going to add all that in here as soon as we get everything connected. So, we got the power supply in. Let's connect everything up, shall we? Alright, so we're going to take a look at how everything is connected power-wise in the system. This one right here is your CPU. And these can be pulled apart if they don't take two. This one only takes one of these, so we're going to just use the one. Yep, that one goes to CPU. what we're going to do, we're going to run the wires right by the RAM and CPU, or APU I should say. This one powers the whole motherboard. Only fits one way, so just feel for the tab and then look for the thing here and then put it in that way. And that's all there is to it. Okay, that's on there. So now we have two cables that are just kind of free floating in there. And that's okay because we'll button them up later. Now we need to take all these wires that came with the case that I tucked behind the unit, and we're going to tuck them all through and hook them all up. Take all the ties off. And we're simply going to just shove these on back through this other. As these all go somewhere, we'll have to figure it out. Okay, so all the wires are back through. Now it's time to hook them all up. This part I'll probably skip because it's technical. Okay, now we're on the programming part of the PC. We're going to install Windows, get all the updates, install all the necessary software, and this is going to be installed on the solid state drive, so it should be faster than normal. So I'm going to just walk through the process, and it should be fairly quick. Next, install now. I have the Windows key right here. I'm going to put in as soon as it's ready. See, right here already. So I'm going to turn this off so that the key's not given away. I'll be right back to continue the installation. Okay, we're back at the next screen. I've just entered the Windows key for this build. I'm going to accept the license terms. Click next. I'm going to install Windows, and I'm going to do it on this drive. This is the solid state drive. I'm going to form a new partition. Okay, then I'm going to format. And then, yeah, see, it's just that quick. And then click next. And as of right now, the base Windows is installed. So for now, I'm going to install the updates. And continue from there. Okay, here we go. It's working on the updates now. Okay, we're about ready to do a boot test of the system I'm building for a customer. And let's find out just how fast it is. The power button is up here. Alright. It's now time to start buttoning this system up, which means putting the sides back on. And we're going to start with the other side. The reason why you want to do the other side is to make sure the cable is not going to snag or anything like that. Which I don't think it's going to. So this side has the has a side without the window. Just slides on just like that. It's got a little handle in the back that you just kind of fold up. And then it's got these little thumb screws in the back that you just screw in. Okay, with that side done, you put the other side on. And do the same thing, just backwards. This one has the window, so it goes on this side. And that just slides into place. And again, you just set the thumb screws and tighten it. And down here. There's that. Now, the gaming machine is complete. The only other thing that needs to be done is to go back in, make sure everything still works, like any final updates there might be, and update any games and stuff that they might have. So that's the next process, and then we're done.